Hi guys, this is GSMDome.com and I'm here with the Infinix Note 40 Pro 4G. I know it's a mouthful, and we're dealing here with a handset that comes with a huge amount of accessories. It has a bundled magnetic wireless charger, a very fast charger, and also a screen protector, and even a bundled pair of headphones, believe it or not. It's time for a review here, and it's quite a good looking phone. The brand Infinix belongs to Transsion, which is the fourth largest smartphone maker in the world as of now. The price is around 240 euros, at least in Europe, and we're getting a dual LED flash at the front side for the selfie camera, as well as some surprising extras like ChatGPT including an assistant, and even some gaming features. Okay, so let's get going. The phone measures 7.8 millimeters in thickness and weighs 190 grams. It has IP certification. I'm talking about IP54, resilience to water and dust. It's pretty slim, I have to say, but also quite narrow and long. Well, not as narrow as to allow perfect one-hand usage. It's pretty solidly built, and the leather imitation backside helps with the grip. I have to say I'm not very sure if the frame is plastic or metal. I tend to believe it's actually plastic. The buttons are pretty comfy, placed here on this side, and we have a curved screen which contributes to a more premium looking aspect. Now, aside from this hue here, we also have another one, from what I know should be something like gray or maybe blue. Okay, when everything's said and done, I think it's time to move on to the screen. The panel you can see here, well, this one is an AMOLED 6.78 incher with a resolution of 2436 over 1080 pixels. It's got a 120 Hz refresh rate and up to 1300 nits. There's also Gorilla Glass protection, even though the exact version hasn't been revealed. Now, when it comes to the viewing experience, you can check it out here. So we do this and this, and here we are, with a very bright and immersive panel, I have to say, with wide view angles, deep blacks and pure whites, plus colors that pop out, and a pretty large color palette. Animations are also rather smooth on account of the high refresh rate, and now I think it's time to also see the brightness. So as you can see, we achieved a pretty impressive 1003 lux units here, which is quite high. It's even above the iPhone 15 Pro, Motorola Edge 40, and the OnePlus Nord 3. At the same time, it's below the Honor Magic 6 Lite and the Nothing Phone 2a. Now, if you go inside the phone, you're going to find the CPU, which you've heard of probably. Well, you may have heard of its basic version, the MediaTek Helio G99. It's actually the G99 Ultimate, which is just a little bit better for some minor gaming. It can run Free Fire and PUBG, that's for sure. It has a Mali G57 MC2 GPU and quite a generous amount of RAM here, 12 gigs, as well as 256 gigabytes of storage. And we also have, as far as I know, no microSD card slot. There's also no lag and no overheating. And speaking of heat and things like that, we actually have here, let's see, a bunch of screenshots, and one of them has to do with the throttle test. This is the throttle test you can see here. We dropped 15% performance after 15 minutes of heavy, intense testing. Now let's see how the Helio G99 Ultimate did in our benchmarks. We start off with Antutu 10, here we are. This is it. It's above the Moto G84 and the Oppo A98 in the lower mid-range department, also beating the Huawei Nova 12 SE. It's below the Samsung Galaxy A35 and the Moto G54 Power, just so you know. The other test we did is Geekbench 6, and in the multi-core subtest, we're just above the Realme 10 4G, as well as the Moto G53 and the Redmi Note 12 4G, of course. We're below the Redmi Note 12 5G and the Moto G54. When it comes to the GPU test, there's 3D Mark Slingshot Extreme ES 3.1, where we're just shy of the OnePlus Nord CE 2 Lite, just shyly above it, and also above the Realme 10 4G. Not exactly a heavy hitter, this CPU and GPU. We're below the Nokia X30 and below the Honor Magic 5 Lite. At least the temperature is pretty well kept in check, so if you go here to the benchmarks, 31.4 degrees Celsius were achieved in benchmarks again, and in games, it's one of the coolest phones on the market with 28.1 degrees Celsius, so definitely no overheating here. On the battery front, we have a 5000 mAh unit, which is quite big and generous. It charges at 70 watts via wire. You get a bundle charger for that, and you're promised to reach 50% in just 20 minutes. There's also a 20-watt wireless charger. You can place a special case at the back and a special mag accessory that imitates the MagSafe from Apple, and you get wireless charging, you get a reverse wireless charging and reverse wired charging. Now let's see the battery results. So this phone here, the Infinix, achieved 19 hours and 17 minutes of continuous HD video playback, which is actually not bad at all. It's it's above the Huawei Nova 12 SE and above the Moto G54 Power, which was a bit of a battery phone, but below the Redmi Note 12 4G, below the Galaxy A35. When it comes to continuous usage, we're with PC Mark here, and the 14 hours and 2 minutes is just okay. It beats Samsung Galaxy A35 and an Honor Magic 6 Lite, as well as the Galaxy A54. Just so you know, we're below the OnePlus Nord 2T and the Realme 10 Pro. Now, as far as the charging is concerned, we require 35 minutes to go from 0 to 100%, and after just 15 minutes, we're at 52%, which is not bad. Now, when it comes to the acoustics, we have a pleasant surprise here. We have the JBL logo here. Yes, indeed, stereo speakers with the JBL acoustics, and sadly, there is no audio jack, but we do have FM radio and headphones bundles, so yeah, there's that. Now, the actual experience is going to be put to the test right now. Okay, a bunch of conclusions. I would say that the volume is sufficiently high for me. There's not much bass here, and the highs get a bit distorted at maximum volume. They're not very undistorted even at lower volumes, so clarity isn't exactly the strong suit here. I expected a bit more from JBL, to be honest. I would say that it's just the loudness and the voices that are the pros here. Other than that, not much. At least we have headphones. Now, as far as the volume tests are concerned, we achieved 83.2 decibels at the top speaker and 92.5 decibels at the bottom speaker. This is actually a pretty high value. We're accustomed to something like 80 plus. We're surpassing Huawei Nova 12 SE, Honor Magic 6 Lite, but we're below the Realme C55 and also the Vivo V23 5G. In games, we achieved 91.1, which is very low. We're expecting 100 here. It's above the Redmi Note 12 Pro and Galaxy A34, but below the Realme 12 Pro Plus and the Moto G54. On the camera front, we have a 32 megapixel shooter here with a bit of a surprise. So if you're going for a video, well, check it out. We have actually here a pair of LED flashes at the top side for your selfie needs. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so 32 megapixel with dual LED flash and full HD capture. At the back side, 108 megapixel main camera with optical image stabilization, 2 megapixel main macro camera, and 2 megapixel bokeh camera with f2.4 aperture. The main one has f1.8 aperture, and there's a quad LED flash here, which is quite imposing. We're stuck with 2K capture only for the video, and quite a few options in a pretty, I would say, strange interface. Okay, so these are the special options: slow motion, time lapse, dual video, short video, sky shop, which is shooting the sky with various options, pro mode, panorama, super macro, documents, and AR space. There's super night as well. There's portrait as well. There's an AI camera, and finally video and film with a bunch of special cool options for your, I would say, traveling needs. Okay, now aside from that, we have the gallery here, and it's time to check out the photos and videos we did. So here we are in the camera department. First things first, I have to say that initially I felt that the colors were a bit too cold for my taste, especially referring to these ones, which are basically tests of the color of the fans we usually see. They're a bit washed out compared to the usual vivid photos. Others would call them realistic. This was supposed to be red, but it's slightly pink, so yeah, there's that. The selfies are quite good, I have to say. The selfie camera is one of the strong suits here. It takes high resolution shots, doesn't combine pixels in one, and that results in a pretty well focused and pretty detailed shots. And you'll see later that the selfie videos are also spot on. As time progressed, I noticed that while the zoom is definitely underwhelming, you can see here a lot of grain, the camera does capture vegetation with a pretty realistic green, so that's something to go for it. And it's also quite adept in capturing close-ups of various objects and various textures in very close close-up, either macro or main camera close-ups. Yes, you can try to zoom in, like for this distance here. I would say 2 or 3x are fine. They're just cropping, but not more than that. We are working with, I would say, last gen 100 megapixel camera. The flowers look spot on. I'm talking about the color calibration and the details. The 100 megapixel camera does a fine job, but its details, texture, and even some portrait shots of flowers. Even more are here. And even some macros were achieved, even though it's 2 megapixels only. Some people may enjoy that, and on social media such small resolutions won't matter that much. We have textures here, like clothes, like skin, like wood. So when it comes to texture and close-ups, it's a quite high-performing phone. And even colors are not that bad. Only the initial high contrast shots were the ones that bother me, but as time progressed I found the colors to be quite pragmatic and realistic, even though a bit washed out and not very vivid compared to people's expectations. Sometimes the phones that produce vivid shots tend to oversaturate and overexpose. This one doesn't. The only thing it will exaggerate with will maybe be the contrast. Once again, I want to highlight the selfies because they're quite solid. And very nice photos of this dove here, even though it cut a bit from its head when it was doing the whole bokeh thing. These are daytime shots. I would say we're close to the Galaxy A35 and between the Redmi Note 13 series and the 13 Pro series. Now during the nighttime, you definitely should stick with the night mode. Other than that, you'll find yourself with some dark shots and the contour of the objects won't appear as nice. If you run into an area with white lighting, you'll be happy to see that the results are quite satisfying. The thing is that once again the contour of the objects isn't very clear without the night mode, but with the night mode you can see objects contours coming to life. Okay, and the selfies are decent. You also have that dual flash here in the screen or cut in the screen, which can help you achieve the improved brightness during the nighttime. That's why I feel it's a phone more for the kids, for the youngsters who actually enjoy a dual LED flash at the front side for their needs. I'm actually happy to inform you that the street lights have a decent size, they aren't overblown, even though every now and then I saw some lights being too elongated for my taste. Once again, night mode handles everything quite fine. To be honest, it's not a very bad capture. It reminds me of the quality Motorola Moto G devices from the higher echelon like the G80s rather than the G50s. These have been photos. I think it's time to address the videos. And for videos, I think I'm going to go to this one here, maybe. No, maybe stick to videos here. Okay, so we have quite a few of them, and my favorite one is definitely this one. We did have problems with the wind. The microphones didn't handle it. This is a very expressive video with very high details. The stabilization isn't very good. I actually tried it out in multiple clips, but this one has plenty of details and quite a nice focus with these doves here. We're sticking to 2K as the maximum resolution, but even in Full HD, details were quite decent. We did a focus test here with pretty satisfying results. And also another one here, maybe. No, actually this is the zoom test, and as you can see, it takes a bit to zoom. It's happening in steps and it's a bit annoying, but the colors are quite spot on. Okay, so still looking. Yes, this is the focus test actually, alternating on several subjects in the foreground and then on the background. Efficient focus, I would have to say, and it was, to be honest, the selfie was the one that blew me away. I wasn't aware that the phone had bokeh video, but this is actually flagship level quality. It suddenly makes the phone a vlogging phone, which I didn't exactly expect. Yes, we do have stabilization tests, but they're not good. The image is a bit wobbly. It's like you're on a boat and it's doing this. So yeah, there's that problem. You can see the image definitely doing this thing, trying to compensate for my motion. We do have a special steady mode, I'll give it that much. It's supposed to be extra steady, this one, but actually it's choppy, not very impressive on its own. Okay, so this is the daytime filming. The details are the one that impressed me. The colors are, I would say, fine. The downside is that the night mode, the night capture isn't as impressive as it was on the photo. There's lots of reflections, lots of grain, lots of noise, and not very satisfying. It feels like a more budget phone. Even though on this screen it may look fine, you'll find that in the end, it's not that impressive. It's closer to a phone that's priced below 200 euros rather than closer to 300 euros. Here we have a very reddish hue, so compromises have to be made to achieve a lower price, but for your selfie needs and for focusing and vlogging is definitely fine. Now, as far as connectivity is concerned, the handset here comes with Bluetooth 5.2. It's only a 4G handset, just so you know, Wi-Fi dual band, GPS. We also have NFC available here and an USB-C 2.0 port at the bottom. Radio, FM, well, better said FM radio is also part of the package, plus we have here an infrared emitter, which can be controlled, as you can see here, from the infrared remote control option. The calls were pretty loud and clear, and we also took a speed test or two or more, and these are the results. So on Wi-Fi we achieved 250 megapsecond downloads and 339 megapsecond uploads. On 4G, 71.8 over 47.7 megapsecond. Once again, only 4G, there's no 5G here, that's another version with a MediaTek Dimensity processor inside. On the software front, I'm actually intrigued. It's Android 14 with XOS 14 on top. It has a fingerprint scanner in the screen, it has face unlock, it has this collection of widgets here, and they even put 2 figments of AI on it. So personalization can happen with themes, wallpapers, live wallpapers, always on display option with all sorts of watches, clocks, lock screen, desktop settings, colors. But this one here is an AI wallpaper creator. You can use these styles, you can select a text sample here and write something like blue skies in, let's say, Italy. Okay. There's also ChatGPT integrated into an assistant here with a pretty unusual name. Yeah, that's actually quite nice. This is probably Florence or something like that. Venice, Florence. Okay, further than that, this is the assistant. It's called Folax. Help me with my homework. Help me with my homework about ancient Greece.
Ancient Greece was a civilization that existed from the 8th to the 6th century BC. It was known for its advancements in philosophy, art,
okay, so ChatGPT is here. It's also a companion for emotional needs. So if you're depressed or feeling alone, you can actually ask for advice for that, and that's quite cute. It can write poetry and help you with your homework. So there's AI here. If you pinch the screen like that, you're treated to some pretty nifty looking widgets, and they even cater to the needs of gamers. So if you go here, there should be a gaming app. It's called X Arena. It has profile for games, it has settings for gamers, it has metrics like temperature, battery life, the strength of the Wi-Fi, and so much more. They're actually catering to sound effects and game status detection. So yeah, even gamers are taken care of. They even introduced something called My Health. It's a health application, their very own, from XOS. So it's actually a full package, and I'm actually pretty impressed by this interface I haven't heard of before, XOS 14. I wouldn't say there are too many bloatware stuff here. There's too much customization, actually, in a good way. You can clean your RAM, there's antivirus, there's junk cleaner, and so much more. Okay, for productivity we have WPS Office, as you saw before, and also we have a few more basic apps. We have Facebook here, we have a freezer app, and well, that's about it. Now, as far as the verdict goes, we're at the end of the review, and we have pros and cons. On the pro side, the beautiful design. A lot of accessories bundled in the case, including a charger, wireless charger, and wired charger. A very bright screen, one of the brightest screens on the market in the sub 300 euro area. We have a dual LED flash here for your selfie needs. We have an excellent selfie video quality, and it takes pretty solid close-ups and texture photos, realistic colors as well. Very fast charging, I have to admit, and I'm actually digging the software and its AI features. On the cons, poor stabilization, so-so processor, the speakers didn't quite impress me, and there's no 5G, there's no Wi-Fi 6, and there's no 4K video capture. In the end, it feels like a kid's phone. Most of the features feel like gimmicks. If you're an adult, if you're 35 years old, you'll feel that it's a gimmick to have the flash here, it's a gimmick to have bokeh video, it's a gimmick to have AI maybe, but a kid will definitely be pleased by all of these features. So excellent selfie bokeh videos, excellent selfies, excellent close-ups, texture, dual LED flash, ChatGPT for your homework, and AI wallpaper generation, plus very fast charge. That's it from us. This has been the review of the Infinix Note 40 Pro 4G version. Definitely some surprises are here, especially the accessories. Goodbye.